All right, my beautiful friend, let's continue our mini lessons with tools and techniques of estimate activity duration process. Guys, at the end of the day, this is called estimate activity duration. So we look at each activity. By we, I mean PM and the team. Okay, in a meeting, we look at each activity and say, hey, how long this activity will take? To know the duration of that activity, we apply estimation techniques. One of these 4 estimation techniques. Number 1, analogous estimation. This is the easiest estimation technique, guys. What's analogous estimation? It means you use past projects data, similar past projects data. I think it rings a bell. OPA. Okay, these are like same family. Analogous means using similar past projects data. For example, we have an activity called flooring, okay, for our hospital project or for a house, flooring. Similar past project data shows that same activity in past project took, for example, 10 days. We have this exact activity in our current project. So we use that 10 days as our duration. This is called analogous estimation. Guys, as you can see, the speed of this estimation technique is very high, okay? We just copy and paste the number. But the accuracy, not that high. Activities differ slightly, okay? But the speed of analogous is very high. Next estimation technique is parametric, guys. What's parametric? We use formula. In parametric, we use formula. So whenever you hear the term parametric estimation, one keyword, formula. What formula? For example, productivity rates multiplied by quantity. Let's elaborate with an example. Let's say our crew, our team installs 200 square feet per day of drywall. Okay. Now, let's say the whole ICU is 1,000 square feet. So using formula, we now know that if it takes 1 day to install drywall for 200 square feet, it takes 5 days for 1,000 square feet. So the duration of installed drywall activity is now 5 days, okay? How did we get that 5 day? Using formula. This is called parametric estimation, guys, okay? When we have productivity data, when we have some numbers, some raw inputs, we can use parametric, and it is actually accurate, but not the most accurate estimation technique. Next one is PERT, guys. Okay, what's PERT? We use 3 numbers. It's again a formula, but we use 3 numbers, guys. We use optimistic, most likely, and pessimistic number. What's optimistic, guys? Optimistic means the minimum number of days we need to complete an activity. I mean, the fastest way that we could complete an activity. This is optimistic. Pessimistic is the worst case scenario, okay? The longest duration that we could complete the activity. And most likely is average, okay? You think you could complete this most likely in around, for example, 5 days. The formula is, guys, O plus 4M plus P divided by 6. What's O? Optimistic plus 4 multiplied by most likely plus pessimistic estimation divided by 6. For example, guys, for activity called flooring, okay, team, PM, and experts think they could, in a best case scenario, they could finish it in 3 days, okay? In a worst case scenario, they could finish it in 8 days, but they think most likely they could finish it in 5 days. So we use the formula 3 plus 4 multiplied by 5 plus 8 divided by 6. Using PERT formula, okay, the estimation for that activity is now 5.2 days. We consider 3 different scenarios: worst case scenario, best case scenario, and most likely scenario. Okay, awesome. And the last estimation technique is bottom-up estimation, guys. Bottom-up estimation is the most accurate estimation. What's bottom-up? We break down activities into smaller parts. Now, remember, whenever we do decomposition, accuracy increases. Why? Because we have a better idea of the tasks that we need to do to complete that activity. Okay, so bottom-up estimation means breaking an activity down into smaller parts, and then we estimate each of those smaller parts and then roll it up. That's why it is called bottom up. Okay, this is activity. We break it down into smaller parts and then we bottom up. We sum these numbers up to get to the duration of that activity. Okay, for example, we have an activity called paint walls. This is our activity. Okay, we break it down into preparation, which takes, for example, 2 days. Painting, which takes 3 days. Then we have touch up, which takes 1 day. Then we sum these 2 days, 3 days, and 1 day. Now we know that activity of painting wall will take 6 days. Okay, this is how we use bottom-up estimation. To wrap it up, guys, we had 4 different techniques. Okay, the most accurate one is bottom-up estimation. The fastest one is analogous estimation. I like PERT one. Why? Because PERT considers 3 scenarios: worst case scenario, best case scenario, most likely scenario. And parametric, when you have data to use formula, parametric is the best productivity data. Okay, awesome. So these were 4 estimation techniques, and I feel like you will definitely get at least one question from estimation technique. And guys, we are in a schedule. The same exact estimation techniques are used for cost too. Okay, but we will also cover these estimation technique in cost part of our tutorial, so don't worry. The next one is reserve analysis. What's reserve analysis, guys? Remember, risk register was an input to our process of estimate activity duration. Okay, why did we say risk register is an input? Because we said we need to consider risks when assigning durations for each activity. Why? For example, guys, we have a construction activity, okay, and we're gonna have severe and harsh weather. That construction activity, the actual work, could take 10 days, but considering that winter, like harsh winter, in harsh winter we can't do a work. Okay, everything is on hold for a week. For example, we're gonna have harsh winter for a week, so everything would be on hold. Now the new duration would be 10 days plus 7 days, a week, so 17 days. We need to consider 17 days as duration of that activity. That's why considering risk is very important. Why? Because it makes our estimation realistic, guys. So reserve analysis is a technique where the PM adds extra time. We call that extra time contingency buffer. Okay, we're going to cover the term contingency in the risk part of our tutorial, but here, have a good idea. That extra time is called contingency buffer. It's our safety time. Okay, contingency buffer to activities to account for uncertainty and risks. Let's elaborate with an example, guys. Let's say we have an activity called install HVAC ducts in ICU unit. This is our activity. Okay, now normal estimation shows us that we could do this activity in 6 days. But we review our risk register, okay? We go to a row that talks about this activity. There's a risk assigned to this activity. What's that risk? That risk is CD inspection might cause delays, okay? And probability of this risk is 30%. Don't worry about probability. We're going to cover it. But this is just an example. Probability, I think it's self-explanatory. The chance of this risk becoming an issue, an active issue, because risks are events that may happen. Okay, may happen, not definite happening. No, may happen. The chance of this risk being an issue is 30%. Probability means chance of turning risk to an issue. Now, PM, considering this risk, adds 2 extra days as contingency reserve. Okay? Now, planned duration will be 8 days, 6 days for the actual estimation of installing HVAC, and 2 days is our contingency reserve. Okay. Now, if the risk doesn't happen, the activity may finish earlier, but the buffer is there for our safety. So, guys, always remember, finishing up early is way better than finishing up later. Okay? Whenever you finish an activity earlier, everybody will clap for you. Everybody will say, good job, man. You finished it earlier. But whenever you delay something, whenever you finish something later, everybody will be mad at you, especially your sponsor. Hey, why did you finish it later? Why didn't you consider contingency reserve if there was a winter, a harsh winter, or if you knew that the supplier will delay, why didn't you consider that in your estimation and calculations? Okay? So, reserve analysis is all about considering those uncertainties, supplier delay, harsh winters, regulatory delay, and other risks that we may have. Or maybe our resources, some of team employees will leave us. Okay, we need to consider these. And the last one is decision making. Guys, estimating isn't just pure math. It is based on human judgment. Okay, sometimes because like I said before, we estimate activities in a meeting. Okay, there are, let's say, tens of people there, your team and you, and maybe some stakeholders, maybe not in estimate duration, but some stakeholders like to be involved, so they can join also. But guys, remember, there could be misalignment or conflict between estimation. Okay, some team members think this activity will take 6 days. Others would say, no, 12 days. Conflict. Okay. So what do you do here? You use decision-making techniques, guys. Okay. You go to schedule management plan. You open up the section called how to decide when there is a conflict in estimate activity duration. Okay. If in that section it says use majority or plurality or unanimity or dictatorship, you use that approach when there is a conflict in estimate duration. As you may know, we have 4 voting techniques. We have majority, we have plurality, we have unanimity, and dictatorship. What's majority, guys? Majority means more than 50% of people who are decision makers who are in that meeting agree about the duration. Okay, for example, we have 3 people in a meeting. 2 of them says, let's assign 5 days as a duration of this activity. One person says, no, let's assign like 7 days. Since we use majority, okay, now we estimate that activity as 5 days, not 7 days, or not the average. Why? Because we use majority. Between 3 people, 2 of them, 66.66% of the meeting participants says use 5 days. So it is more than 50%. We use 5 days as our estimation. What's plurality, guys? The largest block wins, okay? Even if it's under 50%. For example, we have 10 experts in a meeting, okay? 4 of them says 4 days, 3 of them says 5 days, 2 says 7 days, and 1 says 6 days. Group of 4 wins here. Why? Because in our schedule management plan says whenever there is a conflict, use plurality. Next one, unanimity, guys. Unanimity, remember? I couldn't pronounce unanimity. Unanimity means everyone must agree, guys. So we have 4 experts, for example. All of those 4 experts need to agree that this activity takes, for example, 4 days. If there is a conflict, still there is a conflict, you need to have deeper discussion. Okay? We need to continue our meeting till the time that everybody agrees. Dictatorship, guys. What's dictatorship? One person, like, for example, PM or sponsor, makes the decision. Okay? We don't care about other people's idea. One person takes the responsibility and ownership and says, hey, this activity takes 5 days. So everybody else, shut up. like dictatorship, okay? Dictators do like this. Guys, sometimes you want to do this decision making or voting anonymously, okay? Because of the pressure of that meeting. You want to do it anonymously. What technique you use? Remember Delphi technique? What's Delphi? Guys, Delphi means experts give estimation anonymously in rounds until consensus is reached, okay? What's the benefit? It reduces bias. So nobody feels pressured by loud voices. Remember loud voices? Hey, my estimation is correct. Yours is wrong. No. Let's vote and see. Let's vote anonymously and see who's right. Okay? Guys, for example, we want from our experts to estimate activity X's duration. Okay? We get our first round of results. One expert says 3 days, another one 5 days, then 7 days. Okay? Now, I again distribute the reasoning for each of these experts. Okay? Each of these experts estimated based on reasoning, based on facts. Okay? I distribute it. I analyze the first round and distribute new reasonings and facts. And then in the next round, one of the experts which said that activity would take 3 days changes to the, for example, 5 days. But the other one who said like 7 days reduces to 6 days, okay? Again, we continue, we analyze and add some reasoning and facts and distribute. Again, we do it until we have consensus. We reach consensus. Everybody needs to agree and align, but anonymously. Delphi technique is good when you want to avoid that bias, avoid that loud voices, and you want to do it anonymously. Okay? Awesome. Sorry, what? Louder, please. You want mini question from me? What am I? Am I a question bank? I'm kidding. Yes, of course we have mini question, and this was very important mini lesson actually. And guys, remember, these are common tools and techniques that we're gonna use in other parts of our tutorial, other parts of our projects too. So if you haven't learned all of them like 100%, that's totally fine, because you're gonna see them again and again and again. Let's get our mini question done, and thanks for your trust, and please continue, okay? Let's have our first mini question. You are leading a global rebranding hybrid project with teams in 5 different regions. The WBS and activity sequence are complete, but teams in 2 regions are struggling to estimate durations due to unique local challenges. A past project with similar scope was completed in 3 of the 5 regions last year. What should the project manager do to ensure reliable estimates for all regions? A. Add contingency reserves across all regions to reduce schedule risk. Nice. B. Use the historical estimates from the past projects. Nice. C. Ask each team to provide best case and worst case durations and take an average. D. Facilitate a joint estimation session using historical data and inputs from all regional teams and experts. Good question, guys. This is how you will get a question from estimation techniques. What do you think? Pause the video, think about the question. We're gonna solve it together, okay? You're in good hands. Don't worry at all. Let's learn something. Let's go line by line, guys. You're leading a project. It's a hybrid project. Hybrid project, what does hybrid project means? It means the project uses both development approaches, adaptive and predictive. Some parts of the project follow predictive approach, the processes, and some follow agile approach, okay? The WBS and activity sequences are complete. We have done some of the processes, but team in 2 regions are struggling to estimate duration. So we have 5. 2 of them are struggling to do the process of estimate duration. Okay, why? Because they have unique local challenges. Okay, but 3 are fine. Why fine? Because those 3 have a past project with similar scope, but 2 of them, no. So how do you, as a project manager, you ensure reliable estimation? Okay, the correct option is, guys, D. What's D? D says facilitate a joint estimation session using historical data and inputs from all regional teams and experts. Guys, option D combines three concepts. First of all, remember, this is just one project. Okay, although we have five regions are included in that one project, but it's at the end of the day, it is one project. Option D says, hey, facilitate a joint estimation session. Bring everyone together. Joint session is very strong keyword when you're dealing with questions. Joint session signals collaboration, guys. So collaboration is super important in questions, okay? Whenever you hear or see the term collaboration or facilitating a joint session, stop there. That option might be the correct option. This is the first hint why D is correct. Let's continue. It says, hey, facilitate a joint session using historical data. So for 3 of those 5 regions, we have historical data. Okay, we will use it. Analogous estimation. Okay, we will apply analogous estimation for 3 of those 5. But for 2, we don't have that data. Okay, for the other 2, option D also offers, hey, get inputs from experts and all regional teams. Okay, it tells us, hey, use expert judgment for the other 2. So option D is a complete option. Other options may be partially correct, but option D is the most complete option. And guys, here's the lesson. Here's the thing to learn. You should pick the most complete option whenever you're dealing with questions, okay? Some options may be partially correct, like option A, option B, but your job is to get the most comprehensive and complete option, okay? Let's read the description. Option D combines option D combines analogous data from past project for 3 of those regions with expert judgment through team and expert collaboration. Option D encourages buy-in from all teams and accounts for contextual differences. Guys, what's buy-in? So when a TM facilitates a meeting and brings everyone together, buy-in means getting their agreement. Okay, aligning everybody. Everybody will agree, buy in their opinion, like everybody will be on the same page. Okay, getting buy-in means getting their agreement. Option D aligns with agile and traditional PMP practices that emphasizes data-informed collaboration. Why other options are incorrect, guys? Option A says, hey, use contingency reserve. Guys, adding reserve is cool, but it is cool for managing risks, okay? It doesn't improve or enhance the accuracy of estimation. Look at the last line. It says, hey, what approach you should use to ensure reliable estimation, okay? We want to increase accuracy of our estimation, okay? We do joint session, we use historical data and then expert judgment, and then after this meeting, we could add some contingency reserve. But contingency reserve itself alone cannot resolve our concern or questions concern. Option B says use the historical estimates from the past projects. Okay, option D also uses historical data, but remember, guys, we have 5 regions. 3 of them has historical data, and the other 2 does not or don't have historical data. So we need to use inputs from our experts for that 2 regions. Option C says ask each team member to provide best case scenario, worst case scenario. Guys, averaging best or worst cases without analysis may lead to unrealistic expectations. Okay, how do you want to come up with best case scenario, worst case scenario without getting inputs from experts? We may do worst case scenario, best case scenario, but after applying option D. All of those first 3 options were partially correct, guys, but we went with the best option, the most complete option. This was a very good, actually, question. Now, sorry, what? Another question about estimation techniques? Okay, let's have another one. Let's get to our second mini question. You're managing a large infrastructure project for a telecom company that involves installing fiber optic cable across several urban zones. Your team has completed the initial scope definition and WBS, but detailed activity level data is still missing for many new zones. However, historical data from a similar project shows that laying 1 kilometer of fiber in an urban area takes 3.5 days, 3.5 days. You now need to estimate the timeline for laying 150 kilometer of cable in similar conditions. Which estimating technique should you use? I think it is a very easy question. A. Reserve analysis. B. Expert judgment. C. 3-point estimating. And D. Parametric estimating. And guys, let's just go to the last 3 lines, okay? It says, however, historical data from a similar project shows that laying 1 kilometer of fiber in an urban area takes 3.5 days. So we have productivity rate here. Okay, we can simply use a formula to calculate our duration. And whenever you see and hear and you feel a formula that you need to use a formula, it is parametric, option D, guys. And remember, 3-point estimating, option C. I didn't talk about 3-point estimating. 3-point estimating is that, remember PERT? Optimistic plus 4 and plus pessimistic P divided by 6. PERT is part of 3-point estimating. 3-point estimating could have just simple average. Okay, 3-point estimating considers 3 numbers: optimistic, most likely, and pessimistic. PERT is baby of 3-point estimating. Okay, PERT gives a weight to most likely. Okay, but in 3-point estimating, you could use any formula. You could use, for example, O plus M plus P divided by 3. Just simple averaging. Okay? But PERT gives more weight to the most likely. It uses 4 M instead of just simple M. So 3-point estimating and PERT are same families. But why option D is correct, guys? Let's read our description. What do we have here in the question? We already have a reliable, quantifiable rate from historical data, guys. That laying 1 kilometer of fiber takes, for example, 3.5 days. This is a data, a productivity rate. Okay, we have this rate. So we use this rate with parametric estimating. Okay, so you take a known parameter here. Productivity rate is our parameter. Okay, we use a productivity rate and multiply it by the required quantity. For example, let's do the math for our question. 150 kilometer multiplied by 3.5 days, because each kilometer takes 3.5 days. Okay, now we have 150 kilometers. We multiply it by 3.5 days, and that activity, laying down that fiber cable, will take 525 days in total. How did we get to 525 days? With the formula, with parametric estimation. Okay, this is precisely how parametric estimation works and helps us. Why other options are incorrect? Option A, reserve analysis. Guys, remember, reserve analysis cannot be used as the core estimation technique. No, we use reserve analysis after having one estimation. Okay, so you would use it after estimating the timeline, not to produce estimation itself, because reserve analysis helps us to get to have more reliable, more realistic estimation by considering risks. Reserve analysis itself cannot give us the first estimation. Okay, expert judgment, guys. Option B, we use expert judgment when we don't have reliable data. Question already gave us a reliable data that 1 kilometer takes 3.5 days. It's a reliable data. Why don't we just use that reliable data? Why should we get expert inputs? Expert inputs are cool, are useful when no reliable data exists. And when you need specialized insights and conditions are highly variable, but in our question, we don't have these criteria. And why not 3-point estimating? Guys, we don't have optimistic estimating, pessimistic estimating, most likely estimating. We don't have these data in the question. Question didn't give us this data. Question only gave up one parameter, which is productivity rate. We use that productivity rate to get to the estimation. That's why parametric estimating is the correct option. Now let's continue our mini lessons with outputs of estimate activity durations. Let's get it done.